Alright YouTube, so for today's vlog I'll be doing the Jones Beach Star Wars Episode 12 movie pitch, which have some fun ideas for that I'm excited to share. So first and foremost, to start off, the main character will be a more grown-up version of Grogu, as many of us knew him 6 years ago as Baby Yoda, and now he's not so baby anymore. And despite this movie being Episode 12 rather than the Mandalorian episode, and yes, this is another drawing of Yoda I made, but this one a while ago. So going back to what I was saying, it'll have sort of a Mandalorian feel to it, but it'll be about 3 to 3.5 hours long, because I think that's a great length. Like, I think Star Wars trilogy, if they make episodes 10, 11, 12 for real, that it could benefit from an extended length, in my opinion. And here we have the new leader of the new Jedi Order, Rey herself, a cool Jedi. So Episode 12, or this Episode 12, will have a lot of space dogfight style scenes, and also a lot underwater, similar to its previous episode, but also plenty on land and in the desert, just like Return of the Jedi. And I would also want Ahsoka Tano to be a lead character in this movie, in addition to Grandmaster New Jedi Order. Here I have yet another drawing of Yoda. This is not Grogu, but the OG Yoda, and in this episode, Grogu, Yoda's not in it, but, you know, he and Ahsoka and Rey will be facing a lot of monster-like creatures on the desert, as well as more of the underwater beasts that, you know, have come back for revenge from Atlantis of the previous episode 11. And Grogu's mission is somewhat of similar to the Predator Badlands Dex mission, of where it was sort of the first hunt, last chance, and that's similar to Grogu's in this case. And I don't have a precise ending in mind, but I do think that it would benefit from an ending that's sort of an open ending, where it sort of leaves you satisfied, but also leaves clear room for more episodes, rather than just sort of having to retcon or do a soft reboot. It sort of leaves room for more, but also leaves satisfying, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't, but whatever. Okay, not whatevs. Here's a drawing of Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. So I really like how this drawing came out, and we will see some flashbacks of him, but primarily of Din Djarin and the father figure of Grogu himself. So while Episode 11 of this Jones Beach Star Wars trilogy had somewhat of a skeleton crew-like mission and theme to it, this Episode 12 will have a different theme to it, and I'm going to show off, which will have a little bit more of a Kenobi theme to it. This is my poster for, or fan poster for, Kenobi Season 2, which I based on a other fan poster I saw on Google Images, but can't find the original drawing. But enjoy this drawing, and these are the characters, and somewhat similar characters for Episode 12. Here we have Lego AT-ATs and spaceships. To be honest, I don't have an AT-AT or spaceship scene particular in mind, but I do remember hearing that the original opening battle scene of Revenge of the Sith, which is like, I think, 10 minutes long or so, was originally an hour long, maybe even more. So I would definitely want to utilize this for this scene, probably have like an hour-long space battle scene, because I would have been so curious to see how that could have gone in Revenge of the Sith, because like I said, I want this movie to be like at least 3 to 3.5 hours long, maybe even pushing 4. And one of the dilemmas of the lead character Grogu is somewhat similar to his dilemma in the actual Mandalorian series, where he sort of isn't sure whether he wants to join the Jedi or continue his mission with Mando. So he'll have somewhat of a similar dilemma. And one of my favorite deleted Star Wars scenes, although it kind of is somewhat retcon the concept of the lightsabers, where Luke Skywalker is fidgeting back and forth between the red and green on his lightsaber in his little cave on Tatooine before he goes into Jabba the Hutt. So I think somewhat of a similar scene would occur with Grogu, but he's not choosing between light and dark. Rather, if he wants to join the new Jedi Order or continue the path that Mando set out for him. Ultimately, what the Jedi want is whatever he wants to make him happy, but he's sort of, you know, falling into a bad pattern of being seduced by later characters we meet called the Grey Sith, who one of them is the same species as Grogu, and as a result he has somewhat of a similar story to Grogu, but similar with Sonic 4, where Sonic found friends and family, Shadow found pain and loss. So more or less similar origin to the Grey Sith that is the same species of Yoda and Grogu. So these Grey Sith characters are somewhat similar to the Knights of Ren, in which case Rey gets feelings of familiarity to that with Ben Solo, and she takes on one of the Grey Sith who somewhat is similar to General Grievous and represents the Darth Vader side of being more machine than man. And yes, Rey does lose a limb in this movie, because although it's good she didn't lose a hand in the Star Wars trilogy, I think it could have been interesting to see her get a prosthetic limb, whether it was a leg or an arm. I don't know, breaks the tradition, but it's cool nonetheless. But I do want to see her have a little bit of a robot arm in this one. And the character who is the Grey Sith, that's the same species as Yoda and Grogu. He represents the fallen Jedi, similar to that aspect of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Count Dooku. And like Count Dooku, he is not a hateful, vengeful Sith, but rather a fallen Jedi, and he's sort of like he's the true Grey Sith, where the other ones are sort of just out for themselves and just don't want to affiliate with the other dark side users. This particular one is sort of a morally complex character, and we'll see that unfold throughout the movie. And Ahsoka Tano is the true definition of a great Jedi, and we see that later when she takes on a character we meet who represents and is a member of the Grey Sith, but is, more Sith than Grey Sith, and that's Darth Maul's apprentice, Darth Talon, who Ahsoka and her have a gruesome lightsaber battle, and it's intense. And here's a little Star Wars Rey action figure that I got like 10 years ago for Christmas, 10 years ago. Almost forgot to mention, this is the Christmas Eve special, so as we're coming to the conclusion, this character that Ahsoka Tano is facing is somewhat similar to Asajj Ventress, and I meant to say is a mix of like Darth Maul's apprentice, I think her name's Darth Talon, and Asajj Ventress, but a new character entirely. And Phasma may or may not return in this movie. Probably not, but we do see character similar to Phasma with even more screen time and more ferocity, and Finn goes up against this character. So here he is, Jedi Knight Finn, member of the Jedi Order, primarily Rey's apprentice, and the reason why I have not mentioned Finn much throughout this vlog is because he's not an accentuated character in this movie, but also because he may or may not be getting his own series pitch in and of itself, so that's that. I'll show off this Grogu drawing one more time because I'm so proud of it, and I'm proud of this movie pitch, so hope you guys enjoyed this Christmas Eve special vlog. Until then, stay tuned for soon. Goodbye.